WWE have pitched CM Punk versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. An AEW star has suffered a major injury setback, and we've got future plans for a departing AEW original. Stay tuned for the news. Now, it is a very, very cold winter's morning here in Newcastle, but the thing that is heating us up is definitely the prospect of this incredible, massive dream match that I think before Saturday night, we thought we'd never get to happen. Of course, we're talking about CM Punk versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. I honestly can't believe it.
Yeah?
Like, it's when I opened up Twitter last night, I'm refreshing, I'm going like that.
Oh, Jesus.
I was aggressively scrolling on Twitter, and I saw this pop up. Well, Fightful Select reporting that CM Punk versus Stone Cold Steve Austin is a possible thing that's going to happen. Tell me what they've been saying, Andrew.
Oh, so Fightful said, we're told many in WWE are hopeful and even optimistic that the match could finally be put together. One source in the company had indicated that many ideas have already been floated between CM Punk and WWE. We have not heard how far along in talks, planning, or pitches that this is, but that if they all went well, the ideal scenario would see Punk fly into Austin to go over ideas. Those close to Austin say that they've never heard him mention any personal issues that the two would need to get over, and actually indicated that they drop messages to each other a couple of times a year or so.
That's quite cute.
That is quite cute.
People did notice that on social media, particularly Instagram, that when the video of CM Punk's return at Survivor Series, Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock both liked it. So,
yes.
they're cool guys.
They are cool guys.
On the zeitgeist of what's happening in WWE. This match has been teased for a very, very long time.
Very long time.
Going back like 2011.
Yeah, the thing I can remember the most is obviously the WWE 13 promotional stuff, where they were putting CM Punk's like, hey, if me and you got in the ring and that bell rung, I'd be ringing your bell, Mr. Stone Cold Steve Austin. And Punk's like, in a video game, of course. And then Stone Cold's like, hey, in an actual ring, I'm going to beat you down, boy.
Which is crazy, because like 10 years ago, it's longer, back in 2011, 2012, the idea of Stone Cold Steve Austin getting back in the ring was like, that's not happening.
Yes.
It's never going to happen.
No.
He's been retired since 2003. There's no way with his neck that they would risk it. And he's been out the ring for 20 odd years. At that point, it was 10. However, we've seen him get back in the ring.
We did, with Kevin Owens at WrestleMania.
So, like, the fact that everything is now lining up, that this is a possible match that WWE is at least discussing.
Yes.
CM Punk has gone, well, I'd like to do that.
Yeah.
And Steve Austin's just on the periphery, just been like, I'm free.
Do you know what? If it's in a similar situation to how the Kevin Owens match played out, if it was like some sort of street fight or something like that, where they don't necessarily have to be in the ring all the time to put on like an actual, a proper professional wrestling match.
A scrap.
A scrap would be really fun to see. And I think those two, similar to how Kevin Owens and Steve Austin's match was together, I think Punk and Austin together could do a really good job of that as well.
I think they could. It's also the storyline there, even if so much as we know Stone Cold actually was able to compete in that match and was hold his own, but it's really the storyline here for these two. And it makes me if it's going to go ahead, it's WrestleMania, right?
You think so. Right? It's a big money match, isn't it?
Like, that's a main event of night one, night two, possibly, if Reigns wasn't the champion still. Like, that feels like a massive, massive match. And one we will definitely be keeping an eye on, because it's quite an exciting prospect. Speaking of CM Punk, you can check out the Punkvember podcast on the podcast feed. Myself, Aidan, and Tom looked into the entire history of CM Punk, going from his return to wrestling until his return on Monday Night Raw and Survivor Series, with the next episode, the epilogue, goes out tomorrow on podcast feeds. But staying with CM Punk just a second, multiple WWE names have commented on CM Punk's return, including Kevin Owens. He spoke to sports journalist James Williams in LA and was asked about Punk's return. He said, I just want to have fun at work, so if he's got that mindset, great. Kind of short but sweet on that one. Owens and Punk, obviously, they've got a history in Ring of Honor. They've got a history dating back to the independent scene, but we never got the opportunity to see what they can do in WWE.
No, and I believe recently as well, we kind of heard the things of, maybe if Punk was to return earlier than he already did, then maybe him getting in the Royal Rumble and doing something with Kevin Owens, right? And I think those two together would also be something that I personally would like to see.
It's kind of similar to that Stone Cold feud, right?
Yeah, exactly.
There's like Kevin Owens, obviously having that match with Stone Cold at WrestleMania last year, has made it feel like he's kind of the successor in a way of he uses the stunner. They're similar styles. It was like a passing of the torch moment. So like it's not surprising to me that CM Punk is interested in having matches with both of these two.
Yeah, for sure.
Kevin Owens is a big deal match. But Shawn Michaels also spoke to Pete Rosenberg and drew comparisons between Punk and himself. He said, I wasn't always the most popular guy to people, but I was really good at my job, and I feel like that's one of the reasons I've had one here at WWE for almost 40 years, because again, I'm dependable and I'm good at my job. And I think if you're that, there's always an opportunity here. I'm happy for him, I'm happy for the company, and I'm happy for the WWE fan base, the WWE universe. Stories like this are always fantastic, even if they are controversial, and that's part of what makes them fantastic. Shawn Michaels said a couple months ago when the talk of CM Punk, where's he going to go next? He was like, I'd love to work with him in NXT.
Oh, well, I mean... Do
you think he shows up?
I think maybe to capitalize on him coming to WWE at the moment, to really like get the most out of it, I feel like him popping up on every show in some capacity, especially for NXT, that would like boost the numbers so much, right?
Right.
We saw the special episode of NXT recently where they had loads of legends on there, like all the big names came, and I feel like if you get CM Punk on that, and you've got another winner right there.
Alongside the idea of it maybe going head to head with AEW. What bigger name could you get to capitalize on than CM Punk going head to head with AEW? I think we'll not see him in NXT for a while, but I think Shawn Michaels will be really asking Triple H very, very nicely, can you please let me have Phil
can I
for
play
a
with
little
him for a little while, please?
We've got some AEW news now, though, because an AEW Star has suffered an injury setback. Tell me a little about that injury.
Yeah, so Bandito was forced to the sidelines in June, having suffered a wrist injury in a match against Takeshita. He was expected back in the ring this month. However, Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez on Wrestling Observer Radio revealed that his injury hasn't healed properly, and this will be required to undergo more surgery. There's no return date for Bandito currently, which is such a shame.
It is a shame because he felt like he was getting a lot of momentum, and it was like, oh, this is an exciting prospect that AEW has signed that they want to invest in. And it seems like injury setbacks and maybe where his place in the card was, it's just not quite worked out. And you look at Dragon Lee, both of them are signed to the same different companies at the same time, and Dragon Lee's only excelled, whereas unfortunately Bandito's been left with numerous injuries.
And through no fault of his own as well. I love watching Bandito on TV. I think he's such a joy to watch. And as you said, someone who felt like he was getting a lot of momentum behind him. A lot of people who maybe didn't know who he was prior to his work in AEW and stuff, didn't really know who he was, like really getting familiar with him. And then now all of a sudden things have had to just like stop for him. It's awful as well, thinking like, oh, I'm going to be able to come back and I'll be able to like pick up that momentum and carry it on. And now, having to go back for a bit more surgery, put him on the sidelines for a little longer. It'll just make the heart grow fonder.
It will. Fraser. It's just absolutely gutting, especially when it's no fault of his own as well. And for sure. He just didn't heal properly. And that you can't do anything about that. So hopefully it's a speedy recovery for Bandito. But another AEW star has given an update on their injury. It's Serena Deeb. She's speaking in a video on her status. She said that it's a prolonged absence since last October. She's had a series of 3 unprovoked seizures. She says she saw a neurologist recently and he told her that she'd recovered, she's healthy, and she's officially cleared to wrestle. However, or hopefully the next time she says, you'll see me, it'll be in the ring doing exactly what I do best. And she says she can't wait to wrestle. She can't wait to show you exactly what the Professor Serena Deeb is made of. Another name that was gaining a bit of traction in AEW.
Yeah, of course.
Injury setback.
Yeah, definitely. And Serena Deeb seems like somebody that you would want on the women's roster in terms of like her, just a record of what she's done in the past and sort of like how she'd be able to help the women's roster in AEW. You know, there's a lot of criticism, I feel like, about the women's roster and them not maybe being given time or sometimes feeling a little bit undeveloped here and there. And I feel like Serena Deeb is the perfect person, obviously, to put in there and like just get a bit more traction going again for them.
It's that experience factor.
Yeah,
where
of course,
it's like she's a pro, she's done this for a long time, she knows what she's doing. She's safe to put someone in there with and train them while they're working, rather than it just being like, here's 2 talents who are coming up on the scene that are one's not more experienced than the other, and which is sometimes great, but also you do need that sure hand, someone like a Serena Deeb. But speaking of AEW stars, Tom has got Kip Sabian on Desert Island Graps tomorrow.
He said it was a fun time as well. He said he
time.
really enjoyed the talk that he had. I think he had a very long conversation with him as well.
And Tom's very good for having long. He can now do a great interview. So make sure you check out that on the podcast feed and on Patreon if you're a $10 subscriber or more. You can get the video for that tomorrow. But staying with AEW, we've got some news about the biggest star of this week. What the news has been all about. It's QT Marshall.
It sure is.
QT Marshall. Tell me a little about it, Andrew.
So AEW's departing QT Marshall has already had some people asking about his services, according to Fightful. And Fightful Select say, we're told that Major League Wrestling is planning to communicate with Marshall and wants him to work both in and out of the ring. We're told MLW is in the process of revamping their front office, including some roles that Marshall had worked in during his time at AEW. MLW considers Marshall a jack of all trades in and out of the ring, and Marshall has also several people pushing for him within WWE for a variety of roles, which is to be expected to, because you Cody Rhodes and everything in there as well.
I was going to say who's pushing from in WWE. Surely it's got to be Big Codes. It's Big Codes, the American roller coaster.
Yeah. I think MLW. I think QT Marshall in MLW is a good fit.
It's a very good fit for me. And it feels bad when you say like, oh, he's not a caliber of, he doesn't fit in WWE. But I think, MLW, TNA, I feel would get right behind him because he's got that experience. He's, again, it's like Serena Deeb. He's very safe. He knows what he's doing. He's experienced. People respect him. If TNA or MLW want to rejuvenate what they're doing and bring some more life to the product and boost it going into the new year, QT Marshall's a great signing. Even if you're not a fan of QTV and what he does in the ring, he's a great signing for any company. It'll be interesting to keep an eye on, definitely going forward, QT Marshall, where he ends up. We've had one free agent taken off the market in CM Punk. QT Marshall's just getting started on that free agency.
Oh, what a guy.
But that is all we've got for you just now. We'll be back later on today with more wrestling news, and hopefully we'll have heated up by then because it's very, very cold. We'll see you later.